Yes, now.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Peace be upon you. Welcome all. I am Shawqiya Hawawra, the president of the Arab English Teachers Association. I welcome all of you, all our attendees from all over the countries in the world. And of course, I want to welcome my guest speaker from Kenya, Mr. Eustus Maboro, will talk about a very vital and distinguished topic this evening, which is about teaching literature through stories. This topic we need it as an educator in order to stimulate our students inside our classes and in order to upgrade their proficiency and to engage them more and more in the educational process. So another time, I welcome you, Mr. Eustus Moboro from Kenya, and thanks another time for joining us and for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much. You can now begin because the floor is yours. Yes, thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Madam Shakuya. Can you hear me, please, Madam Shakuya?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Yes, you are
I can
audible. Please,
I can
Mr.
start now.
Amir, you can start the PPT, the PowerPoint. You can share the PowerPoint, Mr. Amir. Yes, please start,
Okay, thank
Mr.
you so much. I'm
Estes.
Eustace Buru from Kenya. Kenya is found in East Africa. We neighbor countries like Tanzania, Uganda. Towards north we have Ethiopia. We have Sudan, South Sudan. Still we have Uganda. Kenya was colonized by British, so it's an Anglophone country. Our capital city is known as Nairobi, and Kenya is known for abundance of wildlife. That is a big five. We have a wild beast migration, and so far we also host safari, wild safari. That's Kenya. At least now we have known where Kenya is. We have said it's in East Africa, and the capital city is Nairobi. So to begin with, I'll talk about how stories have been as British English. So ever since human beings sat in caves, they told stories. That's a long time ago. They told stories to help them grapple with life and the struggle to survive. And one of the most famous story we have uh, in modern times, that is in medieval times, I mean, we have Beowulf, where we had is during the medieval times in Britain, where we had that's original, the first story that's known based on that time, Beowulf. We had was called kill a giant. And of course, we have in the West, we have stories like Rip and Winkle, a story like Jack and the Beanstalk, Pied Pipe of Hamelin, Bamba. I think it's well conversant there, Baba and 40 Thieves. And here in African folklores, we have Shisha Cognac. Here in African, you have a lot of ogres. I think our stories are about human eating giants, ogres. So that's how it was. But of course, we have Snow White, among others. So those stories have been told, passed from generation to generations, and they are very important uh, aspects of life. Okay? So what perhaps we can define what is a storytelling. Storytelling is a teaching method which helps the learner solve the given problems, task, way, and creates a constructive and creative comprehension of the given matter. So when you tell a story, it help you to the story can help you solve the day-to-day problems, and then in a very constructive way, and creates comprehension. So some that you explain in class, you can tell a story so that maybe the runners can have a better grasp of the subject matter that you're teaching. Another definition of storytelling, we can say, is the process of weaving language into a concrete narrative with the purpose of creating rich, believable experiences. So a story again, yes, we have fantasy stories like the one I have mentioned here about Gulliver's Travel, kind of fantastic fantasy story where he went to 4 different countries, got shipwrecked, found some giant people who are very big. Then he went to I found people who are very small, maybe a ninja or so. So you can see it's a fantasy. So, but a story, uh, the main purpose of a story is you create a rich, believable experience. Something maybe that can be believable. Um, we can also say that a vivid description of ideas, beliefs, personal experiences, life lessons through stories. Also, you can tell stories. You teach maybe a moral lesson through stories, and also and fables. These fables are animal stories, like don't have, especially in African African stories, folk it's around those fumbles stories about animals. You give them human characters, and mostly here in Kenya, let's say so. Um, it's the hair is always regarded as a bright, sharp. Then we have the rain like hyena. You see, they teach a different um, morals. You find that they glorify about being clever. Here is always clever here. I have said hyena is always rain. I will say you can also say a story is an art to develop cultural and social interactivity with listeners in an interesting way. So when I tell a story, we interact, we create that kind of a bonding social through the stories and in a very interesting way. Say a story is a real or imagined account of events that describe experience. It can be real or imagined that describe a certain experience. A story creates a memorable account to the listener. When I tell a story, uh, something that is was abstract, you make it concrete. That kind of stories to be brief. In story is able to breathe through imagination. Now you could be able to difficult concepts, abstract, are brought to the fore. Maybe can now be seen through the when you bring a story. And that now become memorable. You can stay in your hand brain for a very long time. For example, I remember stories that was told by my father about Mine Boy when I was 3. I still I remember those episodes. Rivers Travel, King Solomon Mines, Arabian Tales. These are stories that I was told when I was very young, and they are still in my mind. Create a memorable experience. A story can be written, can be oral, can be digital. So oral stories that are passed from generation to generation. These are folk through the word of mouth, passed from generation to generation. Can be oral, can be written. For example, I have said those are Solomon Mines. Those one are the Green Musketeers, Alibaba, 40 Thieves, written stories. Again, they are transferred from generation to generation. Okay. We have 4 P's. When you're telling a story, we have 4 P's in setting. Therefore, first P is for people, the characters. And this, when you create a character in a story, we have a protagonist and we have antagonists. The protagonists are the good guys, the people now who are driving a certain agenda. They must be good. They are always studying for the truth. And then we have antagonists. These are the person now who the bad guys, the feeling people. So stands for character. Then we have a place where that story located. So, for example, now we have said about the Gulliver's Travel by John and Swift. That is a kind of in English literature. I find it's one of the famous book, Gulliver's Travel, kind of a satire. A satire is a story that is trying to ridicule the human voice. So if you look about the location, you find it's based in 4 localities, the Lilliput, Long, and the rest. So far, any story must have the place where it is located. If you look about the same with the wolf, you find it's maybe based in things and all this. You must show vividly the location and the place where the story is being and then we have plot. That is the storyline. What are you going to tell us? The main idea of the story. That is what we are calling the storyline. So a story that the plot, how is the story, logical, full of ideas. Then we have the last one. We have the purpose. What did the story have to do about it? What is the theme? What do you want to teach? What do you want the public to know? Your reason as the audience. What is the expected lesson? And normally we talk about moral lesson. Because a story must have a moral lesson, and where you find the good always triumph the evil. So that is the theme, the purpose of the story. Why have you told that? You want us educators. For example, if you look about the Gariba travels, I wanted to maybe the more reason about Gariba's travel. Keep on mentioning because it's one of the best book, Gariba's Travel by Jordan Swift. Find the more reason he wanted to talk about self-respect, talk about humility, talk about respect for others, and acceptance and personal responsibility. I use the moral lesson that the story is caring for others. So a story must have a moral lesson, and I have said the good must always triumph. The other thing we can also say that we are wired to appreciate and remember stories. I have said the story that I was told when I was young. I have just mentioned about Mind Boy, maybe by Peter Abrahams. The story that my dad narrated when I was 8 years. I talk about books like Things for Apart by Chinua Achebe. That is the main protagonist, Okonkwo. So I still remember those ones. So they have created a memorable, just to repeat. So we wired to appreciate and remember those stories. Those stories are always embedded in my they are immortal. You still remember those childish stories. The brain is to respond to the stories almost incidentally to the actual events that we experience. So some of the experience that we relate, we tend now to relate to the childhood stories that we are told. That's where we are wired. And, and then we have components of the story, components of a good story. For a story to maybe, and more so in oral, maybe oration, in oral stories, as I have said, we have a different kind of stories. We have oral, we have written, and we have digital. So we are going now to, we are calling oration. That's oration, and that is the component of a good story. How should, when you're telling a story, that is, as opposed now to writing. And so you should employ privilege of voice, pitch, tone, and tempo. That is the speed that you talk, and tibre, the voice, the the tone of your voice, that is the quality of your voice, and also stress when you need stress. This is what you're calling all those prosodic features must be employed when telling a story. Just to to emphasize that the pitch, tone, the tempo, that is the speed of the how you're telling it, the speed. And then you have a tibre, that is the quality of your voice, stress, also into In when you're telling a story, there's something you're calling stage management. How you use your stage management. Not be statutory. You should now move so that you go forward, camp out, that you're able now to engage your audience. Another thing that you should engage a wide range of emotions. Where if it's a happy episode, for example, now the hyena, the hyena has been tricked. As I have said, a hyena in African stories is always gullible, is always tricked by hyena by hair. You see now maybe somewhere is tricked, and then of course the narrator must show emotions, that is show surprise, show happiness, show being builded and the rest. If it again is a sad account where um, uh, maybe a character that you liked has maybe died or something like that, you must show sadness and grooming and all these sadness, all these things. And then we have power of pose. That's very important so that you get a dramatic kind of atmosphere when you're telling a story. You know when to pause, maybe especially so that you create suspense, such that the suspense is very component in a story. That you engage your runners, in listeners, your audience, they want to know more what transpired. So those are some of the things that you're supposed to do so that you can tell a very good story. We have talked about components of about page, that is the about statement employee of emotion post audience. Why should we tell stories then? Once ask yourself. So therefore, you talk about the benefits of storytelling, and therefore, one of the things that benefits, because everything you do in this world must have benefits. If not, then there's no benefit. Then there's no need of doing it. Why should you tell stories then? One of the benefits of telling is it promotes a feeling of well-being and relaxation. So it's kind of one way, a very best way of employing your leisure time. Promotes feeling of well-being and relaxation. You feel relaxed when you have. You tell a good story. For example, I'm a storyteller. When I tell a story, I feel so much relaxed, and again, it boosts my well-being. It's also in classroom situation, and when you tell a story, it increases the student's willingness to communicate uh, thoughts and feelings. So when you tell a story, then there's kind of interaction, and then you find the response. You interact well with your learners. They are willing to communicate their thoughts, their feelings, and their ideas. Number three, storytelling encourages verbal proficiency. It enhances verbal proficiency. You acquire new lexical and vocabulary, expressions, and all of the stories, the imaginations, and more so verbal proficiency. Most that is a vocabulary structures that. Next, number four, why should you tell a story? We have said it encourages the use of imaginations and creativity. When you tell a story, or when you read a story, like those stories I was telling, I was reading those um, Motensuma's daughter, those story King Solomon Mines. They define who I am right now. The makers have imaginations, creativity. You can tell a story by snap of finger. You have a story because you have read so many books. Have been told me so many stories. So your level of
Yes,
imagination.
sorry, Mr. Eustus, sorry
Yes.
for interruption.
Yes.
Sorry for interruption. Can we ask them how can, for example, storytelling encourage the use of imagination and creativity?
Oh, you want I emphasize on that? I say much on that.
Yes, yes, I want to make them active, to make the participants more active in this
Oh, I,
session because they like it. They like it.
I
So
don't know whether
I
I'm
want
too
to
fast.
ask them.
Okay. Am I too fast, Madam Chekuya? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
you are too fast. They say that you are too fast. So please, you can ask them some questions and they can answer you either by their sound, voices, or by writing in the chat box. So, Mr. Ustas asks you, how can storytelling encourage the use of imagination and creativity? What is your opinion in this idea? Can you write in the chat box or you can also talk? Do you agree with this benefit? Mr. Assess says that storytelling encourages the use of imagination and creativity. Do you agree with this? And why? And how? If there is any answer, please. No answer? Yes, Miss Hanan Mansour says yes, she agrees with what you said. Yes, can you explain? Sure. Miss Mirvat says sure. Yes. So they agree with that because storytelling is a very fantastic way. Mr. Al Hassan adds, certainly it encourages imagination and the creativity. And I agree with you and with Mr. Eustace because, yes, Mr. Ahmed Abdelal says according to the stage. He means according to the level of his or her students. Yes, I agree with you because here we want to encourage our students' imagination because imagination is a very important skill, as you know, which we should stimulate in our students. Ms. Hanan says because it enhances imagination. Great, excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now you can continue, Mr.
Thank you.
Ustas. You can
Thank you.
continue.
It's Eustace. Eustace Mburu. Eustace Mburu.
Eustace,
Mburu.
Eustace Poro. Sorry for
In Eustace.
misspelling
Yeah.
and
You know their
mispronunciation.
Bantu
Thank you.
names. Yeah. So they are
Yes.
Bantu, and that is Swahili. There's a lot of in Kenya. Maybe just let me digress a bit for a bit of understanding. We have Kiswahili language, which is a mixture of Arabic and Bantu communities here along Mombasa. So there's a lot of Arabic influence
Yes.
in Kenya. So Kiswahili
Yes.
is a
Thank
Kiswahili
you.
is a mixture of Arabic. Maybe you should know of Arabic and Bantu community. One is spoken.
Yes.
Back to point now. So we point number 5. We talk about encourages active participation, grasp attention. When you're telling a story, the students maybe who are somehow bored, then all of a sudden the creative teacher comes to the story to explain a certain concept. You find that now that the children who are maybe who are bored, who are not maybe who are passive, are now like now the find suddenly they want to listen to what you're saying. Number 6, storytelling encourages use of cooperation between students. Then when they are telling the story among themselves, there is that kind of interaction, coding, there is a socialization, and you find one of the goals of education is to socialize so that uh, a school is an agent of socialization, and this one can now be boosted by storytelling. Number 7, it encourages empathy. Empathy is when you want now to somebody's choose. When you have been telling us, maybe you have been a story about the hair, as I've said here, it's always a clever guy here, and the hyena. You put yourself in that situation. You see now, actually, that is empathy. When you put yourself in somebody's shoes, if somebody has a problem, there's difference between sympathy and empathy. Empathy is stronger because you visualize that one, how that person is feeling, the troubles he's feeling. And this one is enhanced through telling. When you're told about a story, you see the exact situation, how that part feeling. The other one is increased sense of connection. You feel connected with your learners, love you, that kind of a thing. They take to listen to you because of telling stories. And then number 9, not the least, it grooms listening skills. Because now you know one of the components of English, we have listening, we have speaking, reading, and writing. First, you find a story boosts the listening skill because you're telling a story, you narrate, and then you elicit responses from the audience, and therefore now you'll be able now maybe to measure their reasoning skills. You know a person who does not listen, you tell who was this, maybe some of the events that happened in the stories, episodes, and then you ask one of your partners, is not able to know that person has problems. So we cannot say a story is an excellent tool that helps to explain expectation. To say it strengthens the character, and also I think it's one of the most important element of a story is teach the desired behavior. I have said that a story must have expected moral outcomes. So where we have said the good must always triumph over the evil. So a story teaches the desired behavior. Stories also brings facts to life. Some that are now the facts that maybe you're telling some that is, as I have said, I mean abstract. It's an idea that only exists in our hand, and then now can be brought now to life. It's vibed the life through stories. So just to buttress on that point, we can say a story makes abstract concrete. A story teaches about life, about ourselves, and others. So a story is storytelling is a unique for students to develop an understanding, respect, and appreciation for other cultures. So a person who is well versed with stories about literature, respect diversified cultural beliefs, respect other culture, because this person has gone many worlds through reading, through being stories. For example, is well acquainted with literature of Japan, literature of Russia, literature of Africa, that is West Africa, East Africa, literature of Arabia, for example, Alibaba 40 days. You'll be able now to know how those people live. You will be able now to appreciate their culture and respect because you are well versed with different cultural backgrounds. A story promotes positive attitudes to people from different lands, races, regions, religion. When maybe you are well versed with literature, you will not have any kind of being a racist. Maybe religion cannot define you, and also that will promote the world peace. I think that is the theme of Madam Chakwi. As you have seen, stories are meant for cultural preservation. We preserve our culture through telling the story, moral. Madam Shakuya, I think I'm through with my presentation. Unless there's something you like, and uh, back to your floor. Yes, I'm through with the presentation.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, yes, unless there's something that you like, I add or maybe I clarify, I think I'm through. Unless maybe there was something that was not well understood, or maybe I clarify or I add. I think that's what I
Yes, if
prepare.
there is any question, they can ask you. Okay. Is there any question? Yes, no question, but Mr. Al Hassan says stories are not only actions and events, Their structure should have a moral. They have an educative importance. He means that there is a lesson after each story in order to engage the students or the readers with it. Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Al Hassan, and thanks for other participants who answered previously. Yes, Mr. Eustace.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I'm
If
waiting
you
from your
want,
end. Yes,
yes, there is no question. No
yes.
question. You can
I think,
continue.
well, no, yeah, I'm through, madam.
Yes, yes, you finish. Yes, thank you. Yes, if
Yes.
there is any question, please, you can go ahead with your question or any comment, any comment. Please raise your hands and try to comment on what you have seen. And if there is any question, you can raise it. Yes, as you see here on the slide, the stories are meant for three reasons: for education, for cultural preservation, and for instill moral values. And Mr. Al Hassan adds his opinion. Also, he adds that also there is a lesson and a moral at the end of each story, and it is a very important tool in order to teach our students some morals through using stories. And as you know, literature or teaching literature needs much effort from us as educators. So we should be responsible for this skill and this idea in order to pass what we need through using these stories. For myself, for example, I many times when teaching literature, I use some morals in order to pass them for my students, and I want to check if they are, for example, or if they have learned something from this story. Sometimes I ask them, for example, to draw some events in the story in order to engage them and in order to make them better and better in this skill. Sometimes we make a role play, for example. We change it into a short dialogue in order to also to engage them in the class. What about you? What are the ways or the techniques that you use in teaching such a skill? Can you be active in this session? Can you answer this question? What are the techniques that are used inside your classes in teaching literature? Let's exchange ideas and experiences. Yes, here also, how do we use stories? Use gestures. As you know, gestures are very important technique and way in order to pass what you want to your pupils. Also, the body languages and movements, they are very helpful in teaching not only literature but other skills. For example, also, the metaphors in literature, we depend mostly in metaphors in teaching this important skill. Also, make contacts with your student to emphasize what is important. It means you must engage them in this process in order to teach them what you want. Do you agree with this? Yes, Miss Hanan, thank you. The same to you. Thank you. Is there any comment? Yes, what is this picture, Mr. Eustace? Can you explain it?
And that is, as I'm saying, is during the medieval times. That's how the stories, when people now have done the work, they usually met at a very big hall. And then after the eating, they call one of the narrators, one of the person to tell a story. So that is, I wanted to buttress the fact that stories have been told from generation to generation. You can see from the pictures, after they have eaten their dinner, then they call one person to tell a story. And for example, these are now is the story about Beowulf. I have said it's one of the oldest stories in English literature, where these Beowulf was tasked with killing Beowulf. Beowulf was a kind of a giant that was disturbing people there. At on this level, as these people now, the partygoers, when they sleep, Gretchen will come and eat them at night, and therefore Beowulf was sent to kill this monster who was called Gretchen. So in that now picture, saying how how they were doing their parties. Then later at night when we have retired, they will be all atrocities will be meted at them by Gredel, this monster, will come and rip their necks and suck their blood. That's what I was bringing out of the oldest story known as Beowulf that was told in medieval times. That is according to English
Yes.
literature. I hope.
Yes. Great.
Uh,
Yes.
I suppose now I explain the
This.
next picture.
Yes.
Uh,
Please, Mr. Amir. The next picture. Yes.
yeah, next picture, we are still in English literature. This is one of in fact, we call him the father of literature, Jeffrey Chaucer, who has written Canterbury Tales. This is a story, okay, where the people are going for pilgrimage. They will just rest at a certain hotel and inn by that time, and then they will take turns, tell the stories. So after they have taken their supper again, like that one of medieval times, then these travelers, maybe are going for a religious kind of a pilgrimage. They rest at a certain tavern, hotel, and then the caravan. One of the every person will take to tell a story. And one of the most famous story, according to Canterbury Tales, is the Chanticleer and the cock. It's a very famous story where we have the cock who was tricked by the fox. So basically, I wanted to talk about the Geoffrey Chaucer, the father of modern literature. Also, yeah, father of literature. So that Canterbury Tales.
Yes.
Maybe
Great
you have.
stories.
Gulliver's Travel.
You know, sorry for interruption. Many
Yes.
times when when I was a child, when I was a little child, there were no social media at that time, for example, and during winter nights, especially winter nights, as you know, they are very long. So my mom
That's the
used to
problem.
tell us imaginative stories.
Mm.
Yes, those imaginative stories till now we still remember them, and they were very fantastic. And many times she repeated them. My mom repeated them for us, and we always asked her to repeat them. And she taught us some moral through using these stories. For example, not to chat, not to be a liar, not to be impolite with the parents, with other people, etc. So this is a way that we can pass morals to our children. And when I got married also, I began teaching stories for my sons, for my daughters, in order to teach them some good and polite things through using the stories. As you know, we, especially children, old people, all kinds of people like these stories. So why don't we use this technique in order to pass what we want? For example, when I see my child Like, I will invent and create a story in order to teach him that lying is a very bad habit. You should stop this bad habit. But I cannot order him by this, by saying, no, no, it is a bad habit. Don't lie, don't cheat. No. But through using stories, I can pass what I want. That's it. You can continue. Thank you. Thank you. And sorry for interruption.
Yeah, it's not. That's in fact you have buttressed a very important aspect. So I was saying that parents, or maybe the parents, have a very vital role to inspire their kids, to create that kind of a reading culture. Parents, I think I beseech you, I don't know, I beg you, start now inculcating that kind of reading habits to these children at the formative stage, so that they have the passion for reading. And if you have saying that you or not always teach your kids through employee, through teaching, or even how you are done by your mother at that kind of formative stage, and probably that's why you love literature. Maybe I contribute to that. Maybe so, as you have said that literature or maybe stories, actually, like this one I was talking about, Gulliver's Travel. This is a story that I was told by my father. By that time, I did not even to read, but my father also had that kind of a strong passion, affinity to reading very good books. And this is one of the best books that I read, Gulliver's Travel by Jonathan Swift. This, you find, is a story about a surgeon who was known as Samuel Redimer, who traveled, who got split, and then he was only the survivor, and he visited for, in fact, the first journey, the ship got split, and then he found himself in an island alone, and he met some small in that island. He met some small people, very small persons, one timid, and that island of Lilliput. And therefore, we talk about Lilliput. You found it's a kind of fantasy story, but it's a satire because the story, this story, Gulliver's Travel, is supposed to is a satire, just like Animal Farm is. I'm very sure you have read Animal Farm by George Orwell. Uh, Back to Gary by John and Sweet. So you find it is this story was supposed to ridicule the way people do, the way they respect. For example, when they went to the fourth journey that Gariba went, he went to a country that people were ruled by horse like were ruled by horses, and horses looked intelligent. They used to, in fact, that country, that's where we had Yahoo, and these horses, and this country was ruled. In fact, there was nothing like lie. That is the perfect country. Lead the journey, the fourth journey of that Gariba traveled. You find it was a perfect kind of a nation. They didn't even have vocabulary for a lie. So you find out what Jordan Sweetwater teaches, what is true self-respect, humility, and also respect for others, and had said about acceptance of personal responsibility and caring for others. Maybe I'm through about Gulliver's Travel. Make sure you have read it. You can read it as a child and also as an adult, where you'll be able now to maybe to check the institution, real institution. You find it, the story is not about children, it even can appeal for to adults. Yes, Madam Chakwe, let's maybe something you like clarify on the same.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Eustus. Thank you, Mr. Amir, for moderating this session.
Thank you.
Thanks all our global attendees. Please, we want to grant this certificate of appreciation for you, Mr. Estos, for your great effort and this distinguished presentation. Thanks a lot and congratulations. Thank
Yeah,
you for accepting the
yeah,
invitation.
thank you.
And this
Yes,
is
Is it clear?
Yes, yes. So
Uh,
this appreciation certificate is
Madam Sequoia,
granted from the Arab. Yes, sorry.
allow me to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, allow me to acknowledge Mr. Munase, who has been very instrumental in facilitating. In fact, he was the one he helped me so much to make the science and maybe to come in IT, because I was not so much in that kind of IT. Allow me to acknowledge Mr. Munase,
Yes,
also Mr. Joseph, I can see
yes,
him here. Uh, and thank you so much, and all those people have been taking their time
yes.
to listen to me. I know has taken a lot of your time. Also, I thank you so much for believing in me that can I do it, and all brothers and sisters who are listening group. Thank you so
Yes,
much,
thank
Mr.
you. Thank you.
Chakia, for giving me that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, another time, congratulations for this appreciation of certificate of appreciation. And also, another certificate of appreciation for Mr. Amir. Please share the slide, please, Mr. Amir.
Okay. Clear?
Yes. Yeah, no. Yes, now it is clear. So another time, this appreciation certificate is granted from the Arab English Teachers Association, AETA, for Mr. Amir Salim from Egypt in recognition of his outstanding contributions and moderating this lecture, which was titled Teaching Literature Through Using Stories. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Eustus. Thank you, our global attendees. Thank you for this distinguished presentation another time, and hope to join us another time with another guest speaker from another country from the world. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, please
Problem.
fill the form for certificate. All our attendees, please fill the form for the certificate of attendance. Then you can receive it immediately via the email that you wrote inside the email, the form, sorry. Yes, Mr. Eustace, they ask you to send them the PPT, the PowerPoint. Can I send it to them?
Yeah, certainly do. Certainly do.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe the dialects sometimes are challenges between us, but the PowerPoint sometimes facilitates it. Okay, so we can send them. I will send the PowerPoint through my WhatsApp and Telegram. Please, if you are not in my groups, you can join us. I will send our links here in the chat box. You can follow us in the Telegram, the WhatsApp, the YouTube, the LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. As you like. Okay. And I will send the PPT there, inshallah. Thank you, Miss Riham. She says, okay, dear, that would be fine. It was awesome, really new topic. Yes. Where is the phone? Yes, I sent it and I will send it another time. Please write or fill the form correctly. Write your name, email, and the feedback for the presentation and for the guest speaker, and then you can receive the certificate at once. Okay? But write correctly. Thank you, Miss Hanan. Thank you. Yes, Riham, please can you provide? Yes, we will. We will. And the record, of course. When I upload it to my YouTube, I will, inshallah, share it in my groups, either in WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, etc. Okay. Thank you. Miss Riham says it was a very exciting session. Awesome. Thank you. Miss Hanan says, sorry, Mrs. Hawaura, we can't understand the dialect, so we can get the BBT. Yes, we will send it. Yes. Miss Hiam says, thanks a lot. Miss Samah says, thanks. Iman Fawzan says, thank you for your presentation. Yes. Mr. Al Hassan says, stories and please and other literary types. help pupils to face people and be active. They gradually have the ability to participate and create stories by the way of imitation. Yes, it is a very good point. And there are some or other helpful sources that can help them, especially the new technology, movies, etc. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you, Miss Mervat. She says you inspire us, Mrs. Shaukia. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your nice comments, for your joining, and congratulations in advance for your certificates. Miss Samah says thanks. Miss Mervat, you are my role model. Thank you. Thank you very much, Miss Mervat. Rida says, would you please send the link again to fill? Yes, surely. I will. Miss Wafa says, thanks. Ihtiram, thank you so much. Al Hassan, thank you so much. Ihtiram, thank you for this love emoji. Thank you very much. This is the form. Please, I will wait for 1 more minute, then close the meeting. So please fill it because I will close also the form. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ihtiram. Nice. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Eustace. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Amir.
Not at all,
Inshallah.
ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you very
Assalamu
much.
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It was a
Yes.
nice session. Thank you, Mr. Asen and Mrs. Shauqiya. It was great to be with you, and we got a lot from this session. Telling stories enables our students to create and use and widen their minds to express their opinions or point of views
Yes.
through drawing, through using new vocabs or vocabularies, and
Yes.
and that's what we call uh, uh, move the stopped water يعني, as we see or the sea to make
Yes.
their brainstorming, and this is enable them or help them to express themselves freely without any what we call distractions or restrictions. This
Yes.
stories, as you said, Mrs. Shawqiya, when your mom tell you some stories, this gives you the ability to speak freely now. That's what I did with my what we call it, children or kids when they were young. I told them a lot of Arabic stories before sleeping. After four
Yes.
or 6 years, my son began to write stories.
Great.
Really,
Nice.
I so I was shocked because what happened? Why didn't you tell me that before? He began to draw some pictures and began to write stories about these pictures, and I showed them for his teachers, and they were very happy to see that.
Great.
Yes, okay. And we are all very happy to see that what you call hard, okay? When you grow something or do something well, you will see in the future it will be good for us as teachers. We help our students to widen their minds, to express their ideas, to help them to tell their what inside their minds. Really, up till now, when even my what you call students during the classrooms, I asked them, please tell me only one word. Don't shut your mouth. Express your ideas. Today, I asked them to draw their school, and I let them to go to the playground, and all of them began to draw the school as in their minds. Right? I found that I discovered students at the age of 8 years old began to draw and color their school easily and wrote some few words. Oh, I was very happy. That's my big school. That's so and so. It was fantastic. what you call, to help your students to do that. Thank you, Mom.
Yes,
And
great.
oh yes, all the best for you and for Mr. Austin. Thank you for this session. Really, it was fantastic and wonderful and awesome, as you said, and helps us to see something in the future. Instead of giving them the food to eat or to the hook to fish, as you know. No, no, please go and fish by yourself. This is what we are seeking,
Great.
looking for. Thank you, Mom.
Yes, thank you very much for your nice comment. Really, this topic is very nice and very helpful, as well as it is very useful for us as educators and for our students. Thank you a lot, Mr. Amir, for your nice comment. Thank you. Mr. Ibrahim? Yes, please, go ahead. Khalid Ibrahim. Yes, Mr. Khalid Ibrahim from Sudan, please. Go ahead. The floor is yours now, Mr. Khalid.
Thank thank you so much for the effective and informative session. Although I joined very late, unfortunately, but I think stories are so crucial in learning languages, particularly because they help students to visualize. When this is a very important strategy to follow when we teach reading or other language skill. So these stories are very helpful in teaching the language. They are also helpful because this is the only thing which remains for so much. It stays in what we call the long run brain, part of the brain, or the long run memory. And also, um, the drama itself, the movement, and almost all these, whenever we use more than a sense, and students use more than one sense, then they can easily, for example, uh, acquire the language or acquire the skill. So stories are very, very, very helpful in teaching language and in teaching other things. And also, it is an important in sending a moral lesson to kids. They go far most for the parents and have a way of teaching lessons that make them more relatable and interesting, rather than just telling your kid, for example, a story. It helps them understand what happens when they, for example, remember that. It helps them become aware of their actions and their consequences. And the moral lesson from the stories help shape their character and moral compass as they grow.
Yes, of course.
So these are almost very helpful for the students. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Khalid. You inspired us also with your comment because we agree with you, of course. Telling his stories is a very distinguished way and a fabulous way in order to engage our students and to pass our morals, as we said previously. Thanks another time. Thanks for all participants that joined us in this evening, and see you another time in a new topic, a new guest speaker, a new country from the world. Thank you and have a good night. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
باي باي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.